What happens when Hollywood's golden couple goes from beloved to controversial overnight? Today we're examining the dramatic fall from grace of Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, a story involving friendship, loyalty, and decisions that shocked millions. This isn't just celebrity gossip. This is about how reputation can crumble when past relationships collide with present values. So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's break down what really happened.
The rise from that 70s show to Silicon Valley. The early days, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis first met on the set of that 70s show in 1998. The Fox sitcom ran for 8 successful seasons, launching both their careers into the stratosphere. On that show, they formed what would become a lifelong friendship with fellow cast member Danny Masterson. But Kutcher wasn't content with just acting. By 2010, he had co-founded A-Grade Investments with entertainment manager Guy Oseary and billionaire Ron Burkle. The firm built an impressive portfolio valued at over $250 million by 2016, with early investments in companies like Uber, Airbnb, Spotify, and Robinhood. In 2015, Kutcher and Oseary launched Sound Ventures, continuing their focus on early-stage technology investing. This wasn't celebrity vanity. Kutcher had become a legitimate venture capitalist. The philanthropic image. Perhaps most notably, in 2009, Kutcher and his then-wife Demi Moore founded what was initially called the DNA Foundation, later renamed Thorn in 2012. The organization's stated mission is to build technology to defend children from sexual abuse. Kutcher became the public face of the anti-child exploitation movement. In 2017, he testified before the Senate Foreign Relations Committee about the horrific online child abuse he'd seen as part of his work at Thorn. In 2022, he ran the New York City Marathon, raising over $1 million for the organization. The couple cultivated an image as relatable, down-to-earth Hollywood stars who were also making a real difference in the world. They appeared on talk shows, made self-deprecating videos, and seemed genuinely likable. For years, this strategy worked brilliantly.
The fall, the Masterson letters, the conviction. Everything changed in May 2023. Danny Masterson, Kutcher and Kunis' longtime friend, and that 70s show co-star, was convicted of 2 counts of forcible rape. The crimes occurred at his Hollywood Hills home in 2003, during the height of the show's popularity. The trial revealed disturbing details. The 3 women testified that Masterson drugged them before assaulting them, and that the Church of Scientology, of which Masterson was a member, discouraged them from coming forward. On September 7, 2023, Judge Charlene Olmedo sentenced Masterson to 30 years to life in prison. The letters revealed. But here's where the controversy exploded. Before sentencing, over 50 people wrote character reference letters to the judge on Masterson's behalf. Among them were Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis. In his letter, Kutcher called Masterson an extraordinarily honest and intentional human being and an excellent role model. He described Masterson as the reason he didn't fall into drug use in Hollywood and said that he would trust Masterson alone with his children. Kunis wrote that she could sense his innate goodness from the first time she met him and called him an outstanding older brother figure. Both letters emphasized Masterson's anti-drug stance, which became particularly problematic given that the victims testified that Masterson had drugged them before raping them. The public backlash. When these letters became public, the reaction was immediate and fierce. Critics pointed out that by emphasizing Masterson's opposition to drugs, the letters seemed to cast doubt on the victims' testimony that they had been drugged. One victim, identified as Jane Doe No. 1, called Kutcher and Kunis' subsequent video apology incredibly insulting and hurtful. The hypocrisy was glaring. Here was Ashton Kutcher, founder of an anti-child exploitation organization, writing in support of a convicted rapist. The disconnect couldn't have been more stark. The apology. On September 9, 2023, Kutcher and Kunis posted a video apology to Instagram, stating they were aware of the pain their letters caused, and claiming the letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system. But the damage was done. The apology felt hollow to many, especially to Masterson's victims.
The resignation, stepping down from Thorn. On September 15, 2023, just 1 week after Masterson's sentencing, Ashton Kutcher resigned as chairman of the board of Thorn. His wife, Mila Kunis, also stepped down from her role as an observer on the organization's board. In his resignation letter, Kutcher wrote, "I cannot allow my error and judgment to distract from our efforts and the children we serve." Thorn accepted his resignation while praising his contributions over 15 years. But the organization needed to distance itself from the controversy to protect its mission. The broader impact. The fallout extended beyond just the letters. Critics began questioning the entire anti-trafficking charity celebrity complex and whether some high-profile activists were more focused on photo ops than actually changing lives. Questions emerged about Thorn's effectiveness and transparency. While the organization claims to have helped identify thousands of victims, some journalists have raised concerns about whether their numbers match FBI statistics. The business connections. Ron Burkle and the Epstein connection. Let's talk about Kutcher's business partner, Ron Burkle. Burkle co-founded A-Grade Investments with Kutcher and Gyoseri and is a billionaire investor worth approximately $2 to $3 billion. In January 2024, when a second batch of Jeffrey Epstein court documents were unsealed, Ron Burkle's name appeared in the files. Burkle's name was found in Epstein's Black Book and on Epstein's private jet log, and he took trips to Africa with Bill Clinton on Epstein's private Boeing 727. Court documents indicated that Burkle had knowledge of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's activities, though he has not been charged with any crimes. A source close to Burkle said he found Epstein creepy after flying with him. Other controversial connections. Burkle was also a close friend and business partner of Harvey Weinstein, with whom he produced several films and attempted to acquire Miramax. In 2018, Burkle tried to take over the bankrupt Weinstein Company. Additionally, he invested $100 million in Sean Diddy Combs' clothing brand, another figure who has since become embroiled in serious legal troubles. The point isn't guilt by association, but these business relationships paint a picture of the circles Kutcher moved in, even as he positioned himself as a champion for exploited children. Where things stand today. Current status. Danny Masterson was admitted to North Kern State Prison on December 27, 2023, where he is serving 30 years to life. In December 2024, Masterson's lawyers filed a 242-page appeal seeking to overturn his convictions. As for Kutcher and Kunis, they've largely retreated from public life. Their carefully crafted public image, years in the making, was shattered in a matter of days. The Thorn question. Thorn continues its work, though questions about their organization persist. According to your research, there are concerns about the organization's financial transparency, claims about their software's effectiveness compared to FBI statistics, potential conflicts of interest in their lobbying for data scanning legislation, whether their tools primarily surveil sex workers rather than help trafficking victims. In 2024, the European Ombudsman found maladministration in Thorn's hiring of former Europol officials, investigating potential conflicts of interest. Lessons learned. The price of loyalty. This story is ultimately about the collision between loyalty and values. Kutcher and Kunis remain loyal to a friend of 25 years, even after his conviction. That loyalty cost them their public reputation, and Kutcher his position at the organization he founded. The celebrity activist problem. The broader lesson is about celebrity activism. When your personal brand is built on moral authority, especially around protecting children, you can't compartmentalize. Supporting a convicted rapist while running an anti-exploitation organization created cognitive dissonance that the public couldn't reconcile. Final thoughts. Were Kutcher and Kunis wrong to write those letters? That's for you to decide. Character references are a normal part of the legal system, and standing by a friend isn't inherently wrong. But context matters. The specific claims they made about drug use, when victims testified they were drugged, showed incredible insensitivity or willful blindness. And for someone whose entire philanthropic identity was built on protecting victims, that blindness was unforgivable to many. The fall of Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis serves as a stark reminder. In the age of social media, your private loyalties and public values must align. When they don't, the public will notice, and they won't forget.